Welcome back. Life has just been messy. And that is something that I wanted to talk about today, which is really this messy action is actually greater than the master plan. And let's just start with this. Perfectionism is not a badge of honor. It's not high standards. It's not excellence. It's fear dressed up in productivity clothes. And I know because I've been there. I've sat on business ideas for months, not because they weren't good, but because I thought I needed to make everything perfect before anyone saw it. And guess what? Nobody saw it because I never launched. So here's the thing. That big, glossy master plan that you've sat for hours creating, it's often just a big fancy way to avoid the risk of being seen before we're polished. But listen, CEOs are made in the doing, not the drafting. Ever wonder what it really takes to build a business and a life that feels like yours? Welcome to That Big CEO Energy. I'm Callie, entrepreneur, operations whiz, and your go-to for the real, raw, and unfiltered side of business and life. Because let's be honest, entrepreneurship isn't just about strategy and success. It's about figuring out who you are in the messy middle, trying new things, just because you can, and creating a life that actually fits you. From solo deep dives to candid convos with powerhouse business owners, we're talking all about the highs and the lows and the "why did no one warn me about this?" moments that come while chasing big dreams. So let's get uncomfortable, embrace the chaos, and make it happen. Perfectionism can kill us. It literally paralyzes our soul and it makes us feel like if we don't have it all together, how will people ever know what we are capable of? And the truth is, I want to see the messy action. I want to see what it looks like when you try something and it fails. I want to see your struggles. And it's not to say that messy action isn't chaos. It's not chaos. It's courage. It's showing up when the logo is still pixelated. It's launching the product when the website still says coming soon. It's starting the podcast before you figured off your sign off. Messy action is saying, I believe in this enough to let it evolve in the public. So let me give you a few stories, some real people with some real results. And one of the ones that I want to bring up is I worked with this incredible coach, Laura Kelly, and I have multiple episodes with her on it, and she has all these different versions of herself. And one of the things that really draws me to her and has drew me to her since the days that we were hanging out in Calorie Counter, if you know, you know, is she's always just shown what's real. She's always just shown up in the middle when it's super messy. She doesn't even know what it looks like. And it's not polished. And there's been times where she said, okay, well, we're going to start here, but we're going to figure it out as we go. And I love that because it's just like there's forward momentum even when it's messy. And it's not in this chaotic way. It's really about what is today? What do I need to figure out today? And I have, one of my clients, she wanted to launch this boutique, but she didn't have the capital for a storefront. So she launched with an Instagram and literally a rack of clothes in her living room. and a pop-up booth at her local flea market. Like, that's how it started. No Shopify, no branded bags, just cute clothes, Venmo, and some vibes, right? And that was 2020. And then in 2023, she opened her first retail space, fully funded, mind you, by the community that she has built through this messy action. And I think one of the things that I know, especially with some of our kids, is there's a little bit of frustration when they just don't seem to have it figured out. And I remember recently saying, like, it's okay not to have it figured out, but just do something. Just start something. Because you're never going to figure out if you don't like that thing unless you start doing it. Because from 500 foot away, it looks intriguing. It looks like I might be able to do the thing. But how do you know? Or from 500 foot away, it looks really, really hard. It looks like I'm not capable of doing that. But you are. It actually turns out to be easier than you thought it was going to be. I want to recall this other client that I had that she was a bookkeeper. And she actually landed her first 10 clients without a logo, without a name, without a single branded thing, just a passion for helping small businesses clean up their books and get a clear strategy. And what she did is she offered herself in Facebook groups and just offered helpful tips. That was it. She didn't even do a hard sell, do a hard pitch. And you want to know what? She made $40,000 in her first year from DMs and Google Sheets. Would a website have helped? Sure, absolutely. Was it required? Absolutely not. Let's talk about Little Martha's Bakery, right? I launched literally with a logo that I made in Canva under 10 minutes, a website that looked like a preschooler's finger painting, and it wasn't even mine. It was like the platform's, URL. So it was like a mile long. I baked with a mixer and my home oven. I ran out of cinnamon on my first bulk order, had to run to the thing. I've overproofed, I can't tell you how many pounds of flour. And I didn't even realize how hard this was compared to Cal & Co. But I just showed up. I just kept showing up. And I just kept baking. And people kept ordering. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real. And I'll tell you, when I came back from my knee injury and decided that I was going to come back for Little Martha's, my starter didn't want to do anything because it had been sitting from October to January in the fridge. He didn't want to perk up. There was no way. I had to fight tooth and nail to get him going. And I had orders. And you want to know what? I had 2 weeks in a row that I had to say I'm sorry to someone. I can either refund you or I can push you to the next week. And you know what? It all turned out fine. They pushed to the next week, or I gave them a refund, or, right? And it was super messy. But the reality is that I took this action every single time. And here's what I know for sure. You don't have to be ready. You don't even have to be in motion. Because, taking that again, you don't have to be ready. You just need to be in motion. Because clarity, it doesn't come from the couch. It doesn't come for the next sheet of paper. It comes from trying, from adjusting, from listening, from learning, and trying again. And no one, I repeat, no one ever built something so meaningful by sitting in planning paralysis. Let me say it louder for you. No one is checking your checklist but you. No one is checking your checklist but you. Your audience, they care that you show up. They care that you deliver. They care that you help them. They don't care that your brand guide isn't finished or that your email funnel only has 2 out of the 5 steps built. They care that the bread is warm, the service is helpful, and the offer is what they need. So can I just nerd out for a second? So perfectionism triggers the same exact part of the brain as fear of failure. It's the same part of the brain. And often it's linked to your nervous system trying to protect you. So your brain says, let's stay in the prep phase. Let's tweak the font one more time. Let's delay this launch just until it's perfect. Because it thinks that being visible before you're polished is a threat. Newsflash. The world isn't looking for your polish. It's looking for your presence, your authenticity, your consistency, someone who shows up. If you want to rewire that fear, the antidote is exposure. Repeated safe experiences of doing the thing even when you feel shaky. Messy action is exposure therapy for your CEO brain. And I'll just share with you, I have a very real client that you'll hear in a podcast episode next week, Laura, and I hope she doesn't mind that I'm sharing this, but we've had delays. And one of the things that we've had to work through with her, and it's so interesting that I really feel like my life's work of working with my clients one-on-one is I often get to become this mentor. And sometimes it's really bursts out of something that I needed to hear that day. And so I thank her for this instance. But we were just chatting last week about delaying a launch and, maybe we're not ready. And I said, we just need to do the thing. We just need to do the thing. And I also had a previous client that, she just felt like she wasn't ready. And I said, just post the eggs. It was a reel that she had crafted on, eggs, and she had just come back from a long trip and she was exhausted, but she had something really profound to say about that exhaustion. And it was in a video with her making eggs. And I said, just post the eggs. Beth Kempton, a really wise author, says in her group all the time, the world needs your medicine. So let's get practical. If this episode lit a fire under you, but you're like, okay, but how? How do I do this? You're preaching to the choir. Let me give you just five good ways to take messy action this week. Are you ready? If you're driving, come back. If you have a pen and paper, go get that right now. Press pause. I'll wait. One more piece of paper. And this is the only piece of paper you're going to need. Number 1, sell before you're ready. Post the offer. DM 3 people. Launch the pre-order. Even if the details are still fuzzy, the right people will ask the questions to help you refine it. Everybody wants to be part of a thing. And if you are their person, they will buy whatever you're selling. And it doesn't even matter if you don't have it figured out. Number 2, show your process. Hop on Instagram stories. Share what you're working on. Take people behind the scenes. I have really been loving getting on TikTok Live and hanging out there. Bonus is if you have enough followers and all the things, you kind of make some sense from it, real life sense. But people connect with the process more than the polish. They want to know, why do you think work from home vlogs, get ready with me's, let me vlog my day? People want to know what other people are doing in their life. People are nosy. They're nosy. So why not capitalize on that and show what you're doing? Literally, just put up your camera and start filming. Again, preaching to the choir here. Number 1, sell before you're ready. Number 2, show your process. Number 3, set a launch date and stick to it. Put it on the calendar. Tell people and show up even if it's 70%. That 70% will become 90% with time and feedback. I have a client that sold a membership through a coaching week, and I love her. Like, she is so fun. She did a coaching week, which actually is 3 days, and she flipped 100% of the people into a low-ticket membership where she shows up once a month, gives the thing, and then shows up in the comments, and because it's fun, right? Like, she wants to be there. Do you think that she had all of it prepared on what she was going to do? No. But she set a launch day, and she stuck to it. Number 1, sell before you're ready. Number 2, show your process. Number 3, set a launch date and stick to it. And number 4, use what you have. We don't need to be waiting for the studio mic or the pro headshots for the $2,000 course. Your iPhone, your new Android with the camera that you could just sit down for 10 minutes and figure out how to use and put on some settings, use it. Use Canva, use Google Docs. Google has so many amazing capabilities, and so does your iPhone, that we don't even tap into 30% of what we're paying for. You paid for that big fancy phone, use it. Done is better than perfect. Use what you have. Start from where you are. And then in your plan later on, you can put in some things that you would like to have and transition things out, right? 1, sell before you're ready. 2, show your process. 3, set a launch date and stick to it. 4, use what you have. And number 5, ask for feedback, not approval. Your job is not to please everyone. It's to serve people. Ask, how can I make this better? Not, is this good? You are not a people pleaser anymore. You serve the people with what you have based on what your desire is. I guarantee you that if you have a thought about something, there's someone else that needs that thing. They have been thinking about it too. But guess what? They don't have the ideas. They don't have the 70%. You do. You have that. And so I'm just going to give you this. That dream you have, the one that you're, mapping out with color-coded pens, flow charts, a million browser tabs. It's not waiting for the perfect moment. It's waiting for you to start. The difference between people who build something and people who don't, it's not skill. It's not funding. It's not time. It's the messy, relentless, imperfect action. So, here's the thing. We're not going to let our dream die in a Google folder somewhere. We're actually going to bring it out. We're going to start with the 70% and we're going to let it be rough. We're going to let it be real, and we're going to let it live. That's your big CEO energy. That's what you've been working on. Please remember that you are worth starting at 70%. You are worth starting in the messy action. And it's okay to not have it all done. I just want to give you your 5 things one more time. Sell before you're ready. Show your process. Show up. Set a launch date and stick to it. Use what you have and ask for feedback, not approval. Because feedback empowers your CEO. Approval dims your CEO light. That's all I have for you this week. I hope it was helpful. If you are still struggling with how to get to the messy middle, I would love to just have a chat with you and empower you in some way. You are worth everything that you are putting into your business and into your life. All you have to do is start. Hey friend, thanks for hanging out with me today. If something in this episode clicked for you, I want you to shoot me a DM over on Instagram. The link is in the show notes. Let's chat about how you're making the messy middle work for you. If you loved what you heard, would you mind sharing this episode with a friend who needs to hear it too? And drop a quick review if you don't mind. It helps get the word out, and I appreciate it more than you know. Catch you in the next one.